Welcome to the Dynasty Football Key. I've got a special series for Pickem pools, which have been some of my favorite type of games to play for years for NFL content. So wanted to bring this to you guys and see if I can help you out. Let's see what my record is at the end of the season. I've been in the top, 90 something percentile many years over years, and just wanted to see if I could put my process to the test, and let's see if we can help some folks out. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I've got week 1 Ravens going into the Chiefs' kingdom against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. And we saw this matchup in the playoffs. Ravens fell short, and we've got an improved Ravens team with Derrick Henry. And, this run game has always been great, but I know that could take it to the next level. But, guys, I'm just not willing to bet against Patrick Mahomes. The Ravens have had many opportunities to stop this guy, and it just hasn't happened. The Chiefs have, really after that Tyreek Hill move, had a lot of ability to just bolster the rest of the roster. Solid defense, and now they've got first-round talent at the wide receiver position from Xavier Worthy. Yes, we don't expect to see Hollywood Brown, but you still have a second-year Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce and Isaiah Pacheco. It seems like after a couple years of the Chiefs winning Super Bowls with him as their lead back, they've removed all of the other obstacles from that backfield, and it seems to be his, and they trust him fully there. So I'm going Chiefs. They've got the spread at -3 for the Chiefs, so Vegas agrees there. Over-unders at 46.5 at some books. I would say for this first game, everyone's going to probably have some action on this one. So I'm going Chiefs here. Wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens make some noise and get an upset. That's my one of my second favorite teams. But my wife's a Chiefs fan, so she'll be happy to know I got the Chiefs winning this game on Thursday night in the opener. So next game, we got the Packers going to the Philadelphia Eagles. And, man, talk about improving. Eagles have had really done a great job with GMing, just continuing to get good players over and over in the draft and through free agency. So this is a solid team. They also did what they could to build up that run game. They've got Saquon Barkley there now as an added threat in the backfield. So even though they no longer have Jason Kelce, I'm not too worried about Jalen Hurts and his ability to score at the goal line, or the Eagles in general, just ability to do that. We've got Packers on the other side, who are a really young team, probably one of the youngest in the league. And I could see maybe similar to last season, them coming off to a slow start. It's really less about that, though, guys. I've seen the Eagles make these Super Bowl runs, and this is just a solid squad, just a lot of talent. They're kind of in a veteran mindset, and I think they're ready to go right now. Week 1, they're going to be locked in. I've got the Eagles winning. Right now, it looks like it's a close spread, 2.5, some places, 3 others. I'm going to Eagles here. All right, next game, we've got Steelers at Falcons. And this is a little bit of a revenge game. You've got former coach Arthur Smith, who's now with the Steelers as an offensive coordinator. He's going up against his old team in the Falcons. So some of those Falcons players may be wanting to get some revenge, like a Kyle Pitts or Bijan Robinson, who felt like they may have been getting enough touches or involvement there. So I think this could be an explosive offense now that they've got an upgrade at the quarterback position and Kirk Cousins. The Steelers did just name Russell Wilson the starter for week 1, and he's a veteran as well. But for me, I'm going with the Falcons. A lot of young talent, more than just the one weapon, where the Steelers, to me, seem to really be relying upon George Pickem, which I do like him. But the Falcons have just a few more weapons that I believe in. So I'm going with the Falcons here. They've got a -3, so a few close projections with these first 3. And we'll move on to the Arizona Cardinals. We've got Cardinals going into the Bills' house. For me, guys, even though there's been so much talent at the receiver position gone with Stephon Diggs leaving the Bills, Gabe Davis leaving as well, I'm going in on the Bills. I do like both quarterbacks. You can say Josh Allen is the better quarterback, but for me, the Cardinals still have a lot more to do just as a complete team. The roster just isn't fully formed. They're coming out of, Kyler Murray's injured season. It's not a rebuild, but at the same time, their number one weapon on offense is a rookie. So, or I should say, Marvin Harrison Jr. is a rookie. You could debate if he's the number one option or if it's Kyler, but still, I think they're going to need a couple games to get their footing, and the Bills will come out and get this W. -5.5 over, looks like a FanDuel, 6 to DraftKings. I've got the best lines up here, and this is all on rotowire.com that I'm using for this episode. So check out those guys over there. All right, so next game, Titans versus Bears. Okay, so Titans, they've got Will Levis, who has been named the captain, I believe, last week. And he's got a lot of talent around. Got a Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, plenty of other weapons, a couple of really good backs in the backfield, and Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears. Consecutive years they've invested in the offensive line. I like what they're doing there. However, the Bears, I haven't seen a rookie get better weapons to start their career. They've got some talent around. This could end up being closer than we think because we're dealing with a rookie, and there may be a little bit of unknown, but I'm going to lean into Caleb Williams here and my belief in him as a prospect. -4.5 spread there. I'm taking Caleb Williams. And again, guys, these are my pick'ems. Not necessarily saying I want to go in on a 4.5 for this game or any of the spreads here, but I've got Bears winning this one outright. Next game, Patriots going to the Bengals. And this one for me is pretty easy. I'm taking the Bengals. As of right now, there's a little minor concern of whether or not Jamar Chase will play week 1. We're so close that I do believe he will play. But if he didn't, there's enough talent on this team. I think that Joe Burrow can still go win a game versus Jacoby Brissett and the Patriots, who are led at the receiver position by Demario Douglas and a lot of rookie wide receivers. I think maybe Ramondre Stevenson at the run game might be one of their most established weapons. So it's mainly just we've seen the Bengals be a better team here. So I'm going with the Bengals winning this one. We've got a division matchup next between the Texans, who are going to the Colts in Indianapolis. This is an indoor dome game. We've got a -2.5 going towards the Texans. And, really what we saw, guys, last year was Anthony Richardson was very exciting, but the injury concern was there, and it did pop up. He didn't get enough time under his belt for me to believe that he's just ready week 1 to go up and win a game. He's going to have a good future, but he only played 4 games last year. CJ Stroud had the best rookie quarterback season of all time. I'm going to lean into the Texans because they had made some great additions as well, and I'm just going to lean into CJ Stroud here. So I'm taking that side of this pick'em. And the next game, we've got the Dolphins versus Jaguars. Really, with the Dolphins, I just love the offense and the defense, to be honest. A lot of talent on both sides of the ball. I liked the direction that the Jaguars were headed in with Trevor Lawrence, but they really have to figure out, how their receiving core is going to go now that, you still have Christian Kirk, but Gabe Davis is entering the mix, Brian Thomas Jr. I think they're going to need some more time to gel, as where the Dolphins are just ready to go. They're established with all of their offensive weapons and defense. This is more of a veteran team just ready to rock. So we've got in this next matchup, Panthers in division going to the Saints. And, this one, I could try to say that the Panthers have made a lot of improvements, which I do believe. I think the Panthers will win more games this season. I've just really got to see it first, guys. So I'm going to lean with Vegas. They've got a -4 here. Saints, we know what those guys are. Still have a good defense as well. I'm going to take the Saints here. All right, next matchup, we've got Vikings going to the Giants. And, Vikings have had some issues, right? You lose your rookie, J.J. McCarthy, but if he was playing, I would be pointing out that they have a rookie starting at quarterback week 1 who wasn't forced to be the driver of their offense in college. That would have been a concern. Still, the Giants had a big concern in their quarterback situation as well. I do like their number 1 wide receiver rookie pick in Malik Nabers. I think he's very talented and is going to have a great career. But Justin Jefferson is already at that point where we know what Justin Jefferson is. He's one of the best receivers that we've ever seen. So I'm going to go with Vikings. You could say those quarterback situations are similar, and the defense may still lean Vikings. There's just way more weapons for the Vikings, even outside of that wide receiver 1 as well. So I'm going Vikings. You got, again, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, also Aaron Jones, who's a veteran. Giants, they just don't have the same level of talent. This is a close line. I'm willing to go in on this -1 for sure. I think Vikings got this matchup, so we'll see about this one. Okay, next we've got Raiders at Chargers, so another division game, and NFL did a good job with these slates, making them really exciting. So I'm going to take the Chargers. New coach over here. I think Justin Herbert's just a better quarterback. A lot of times I like going with the side that has a better quarterback. Herbert did have some potential injury issues with this Liz Frank foot injury, so that's something to monitor if he can play through that. So this game is actually going to be very big to see what Herbert's status is, honestly, for a good chunk of the early part of the season, and if they can actually have a legitimate season this year, or if they're really looking towards 2025. But in this matchup, even though the last time they played, Raiders destroyed them, I'm going to go with the Chargers, and because I think there's going to be a run-heavy approach. I think they're going to focus on time of possession. They're going to focus on being clean. Again, that game that they lost to the Raiders, I believe, was with the backup quarterback for the Chargers because Herbert was injured. So I think I'm going to lean into Herbert, but this is one of those games where I am pretty nervous. So Raiders, good luck to you. It should be a really fun one. Okay, we've got Seahawks versus Broncos, and this is going to be pretty heavily favored towards Seattle. The receiving core is very solidified, run game's very solidified. Defense, they just continue to add to the defense each draft, and I just love this team. Broncos are still young, moving on to a new quarterback who's a rookie in this first start. I'm going to lean Seahawks here pretty comfortably. And this next game, we've got another afternoon game here. It's Cowboys versus Browns, and it's in Cleveland. -2 favored to the Browns. I'm actually going to go with the Cowboys, the underdog here. I don't see too much of a reason that anything should lead people to believe, okay, Cowboys are worse significantly than last season. Cowboys did lose to Ron Bland, but they didn't have Stephon Diggs last season. So to me, that's a 1-to-1 swap. And, so from a defensive perspective, we're just trying to figure out who at that cornerback 2 spot will actually be able to get it done until Bland gets back. But for this matchup, you're going up against an Amari Cooper. I think Diggs will handle that matchup, and Jerry Jeudy on the other side. So we'll see if they can contain Jeudy. But beyond that, I would say both teams have great defense. Browns have Rookie of the Year and Myles Garrett. Cowboys have Micah Parsons. But the quarterback on the Brown side has had some shoulder injury issues. So I want to see how that looks before I start putting money on the Browns, because this game really is driven by the quarterback. And Dak had an MVP runner-up season in 2023, and his wide receiver CeeDee Lamb is one of the highest paid in the league for a reason. So I would say those two parts on offense are really the difference maker in this matchup. So I'm going with the Cowboys upset here in week 1 versus the Browns. And then we've got the Cowboys division rival Commanders going up against the Buccaneers. And here, -3 to the Buccaneers. Buccaneers had a great season. They did lose their offensive coordinator, but the Commanders are going to be rolling out a rookie quarterback in Jaden Daniels. So it's going to be his first start. They did get rid of their wide receiver too. They only have one weapon that we are really concerned about in Terry McLaurin. And the Bucs have a Mike Evans, a Chris Godwin, solid pieces on defense. Commanders are still in a bit of a rebuild, and this is just the start of it in a good way. I like what they're doing, but week 1, I'm giving this to the Bucs pretty comfortably. That's -3, so yeah, I'm taking this pick 'em for sure. This next matchup, I would say this might be my most unsure between these two. I am going with the Lions. I believe the Rams won their last matchup last season, but the Lions have just continually built upon what they've done the previous season, and I think that loss is going to serve them well going forward. So this week 1, again, the Lions last year, week 1, beat the Chiefs, albeit without Travis Kelce. But the Rams tight end is injured himself. Tyler Higbee, they're on Colby Parkinson is the backup there. We've heard Cooper Kupp is healthy, but maybe Puka Nacua is not. I wouldn't be surprised if he's fully healthy for this matchup, and the coaching staff doesn't want to really give everything away. So we can see that be a fully healthy team on the Rams side. But they're still a little bit young. They've done everything they could to replace Aaron Donald, very admirably. But the Lions, on both sides of the ball are pretty locked in. This is a potential Super Bowl window for these guys. So I see them having a good matchup here. Vegas has them -3.5. So some confidence there. And with the final pick 'em, Jets going to 49ers. I'm going 49ers, guys. I think most people are. Really upsetting week 1 for the Jets last season. So we're just hoping Rodgers makes it out of there and gives us something promising. Let's see a deep shot to Garrett Wilson. Let's see some points on the board. Let's see what these guys can do there. We know the Jets have a good defense, but so do the Niners. So I'm just giving the edge to the Niners because of coaching staff, offensive coach versus defensive coach, and the Niners were just in the Super Bowl. You just have to go with the Niners here, in my opinion. Would love to see some crazy upset to jumpstart this season for the Jets. Would make for really exciting Monday Night Football. But that's it, guys. Really appreciate you guys watching. Good luck this season. I'm ready to start the season off. So hopefully you get your picks in, and let me know if any of these picks helped you in some of your leagues. All right. I'll catch you in the next video.